And the only solution is to try to reconstruct everything, because all the treaties are no longer functioning in this moment when we are speaking now in Potsdam. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, Mark, for inviting me here. It's a great opportunity to express myself on a topic that I consider to be an essential one for today's world. This conflict being, even in the last days, our impression is that it counts less, and fundamental one. In the last days, in the last week, we are more and more concerned about what's happening in Ukraine and about what's happening in the relations between Russia and the United States. And going back to the United States, what's happening between Europe, Russia, and the United States. But the conflicts, tensions realities, even the war, it's still in Middle East. And unfortunately, this topic initiated and I hope launched today will be a very important one for us all. I will make only some brief considerations, personal considerations, but the first one, the one I will start with, is a really personal one. Because 1 year ago, after 7 of October's disaster in Israel, after the abominable crimes produced then, I was, in my capacity as the member of the European Union's, of the European Parliament, and in the two I consider today the most important commissions, because the first, the global problems like the Green Deal are essential, but my feeling is that the war is nearer. I mean, AFET, the Commission for Foreign Affairs, and SEDE, the Commission for Security and Defense. I was in a mission in Israel, even visiting with my colleagues, members of the European Parliament, some kibbutz in area which were attacked a few 10 days before, and we were accompanied by the President, the Speaker of Knesset. The atmosphere, because the persons who explained us what was happening there, what happened there, were persons living in that kibbutz, survivors, and they explained house after house who were the victims, and sometimes how young the victims were. After that, we were visiting, because the mission was to Israel and to Jerusalem and Ramallah. We made a visit in Ramallah, meeting a lot of political deciders, some of them very interesting and very involved in trying to do something good for their country and for the entire area. Even the chief of security in Ramallah, even the prime minister, even some very, very high persons. We were, of course, accompanied by the so-called Europol, the police, European police, which was there in Cisjordania. The place of that personnel was in Cisjordania. The atmosphere was so intense that today I have the feeling of that emotions I had there. With our some colleagues, some lady colleagues, I saw them, there were very well-trained politicians. I saw some of them after showing some pictures, some movies, which was what was happening there. I saw some of them crying in front of us, of all the others who weren't crying but were very, very, very impressed. My feeling was that was a bilateral tragedy, which involvement for everybody, for the Palestinian population and for the Israeli population. And my feeling is that if we are not doing, we, the world, are not doing something as soon as possible, something very firm, something very decisive, the world will go wrong. That was my first observation. The second one, going to today's Near East. Of course, we know who the main players are. We know that it is, I don't know in English, a very convinced Israeli government. We know that it is Iran with its proxies, Hamas and Hezbollah. We know that it is Turkey, which my feeling is that globally speaking, the role of Turkey must be more important than it is today from a lot of different perspectives. And I remember now the book of, a recent book of Ben Hodges, who was one of the main NATO commander in Europe, who said exactly this, that he don't understand why. He don't understand why European Union had this attitude against in relation with Turkey. By the way, a brief note, I was the reporter for Turkey in the European Parliament, and I know very well where are the problems there. And of course, that is Russia and United States. All these tensions and all these tensions going there will produce more and more damages for the entire world, global damages. And my last considerations. 2 weeks ago, I was in a debate, or participated to a debate organized in Romania, in a place called Zabola, where is a sort of a castle. You reacted with a sort of a castle held by Count Mikeshi. Was a debate with some colleagues, the most of them coming from a prestigious academic institution. I'm associated with that institution, London School of Economics. Ideas, which is considered today to be the second academic think tank in the world after Harvard's think tank on foreign policy, academic think tank. The debate was very interesting, but the conclusion was a very, a very crazy one. The conclusion was that the international relations system is now on a zero level. And the only solution is to try to reconstruct everything, because all the treaties are no longer functioning in this moment when we are speaking now in Potsdam. Starting from Helsinki document, which nobody considered as being a decisive and active one, starting with in 2022 invasion of Russia in Ukraine, and continuing with political declaration for all the sides involved, and starting all the entire international system, this was the conclusion, is fundamentally damaged. That's why we are in a very troubled moment in our history, in planet's history, in global history, in Europe first, but not only in Europe, and what we must do, and to look carefully, not only to Ukraine, but also to South China Sea, or, of course, the mobile of our meeting here, to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Thank you very much.